You're at the center of a 20-meter equilateral triangle with a raptor at each corner. The top raptor has a wounded leg and is limited to a top speed of 10 meters per second. The raptors will run toward you. At what angle should you run to maximize the time you stay alive? This riddle appears in an xkcd comic created by Randall Munroe. Previously in that comic, we learned that the protagonist could run 6 meters per second. The uninjured raptors have a top speed of 25 meters per second and can accelerate at 4 meters per second. However, we don't know some elements that can significantly change the outcome of the riddle. This video will explore the different assumptions and how they can alter the solution. First, let's take a look at the most common interpretation. When you spot the 3 raptors, they are all standing still. Then, they will start running towards the protagonist's location, adjusting their course as they go. The protagonist runs in a straight line and does not change their trajectory. Looking at the current diagram, you will see 3 raptors chasing the protagonist. The green area is where you can go. The blue area is where you could go if one of the raptors was gone. And the gray area is where you could go if 2 raptors were gone. The white ground can never be reached. You need to run at a 57-degree angle from the wounded raptor and can survive for slightly more than 3 seconds. You might wonder why the answer is so close to 60 degrees. Well, if there is no wounded raptor and all the raptors have the same top speed, then running perfectly in the middle of 2 raptors is the way to go. However, since the top raptor is wounded, it will reach its top velocity after 2.5 seconds. This is only a little bit before the protagonist is captured, hence the angle is slightly lower. The angles of these solutions can be determined really precise. As we calculate the angles by running more and more accurate simulations over smaller and smaller intervals, the results are surprisingly accurate, up to an uncertainty of about 10 arcseconds. But why are we assuming the raptors run towards the protagonist? Raptors are shown to be smart animals and very capable hunters. Why would they run directly towards our protagonist? It would make more sense if they would anticipate the full movement pattern of the protagonist and run in a straight line towards the eventual capture point. If they do this, they can capture you about half a second earlier. The optimal angle ends up closer to 60 degrees because the top raptor spends less time running at its maximum speed. I explored this assumption in a different video. You can find the link in the description. A third assumption we can make is that the raptors already start at their top speed. In that case, your best bet is to run straight to the top raptor. The 2 other raptors are so much faster than them that they reach you before the top one does. In this case, it doesn't matter what tactics they use, you are caught almost immediately. There are also other assumptions we can change. For example, we can assume that humans can adjust their course. Strangely enough, running in a straight line is already the best tactic, so this changes nothing. Another assumption is that the raptor's acceleration is linear, not tangential. For the precognitive raptors, this makes no difference. The paths of the other ones become nonsensical as they will start to orbit the human instead of running towards them. Have you made a different assumption that results in a different angle? If so, leave your solution as a comment to this video.